Welcome back to the Quantum Truth, Sherry Anshara Unleashed. And today we're talking about creating the new earth. So I've got a whole bunch of batch of questions for this one. So I'm going to just rifle them off for you and let you go like we normally do. So what is a new earth? How are we creating it? And is it here already?
Those are great questions.
Right?
How are we creating the new earth? How do you create a new building? How do you create a new home? And
You build it.
you build it. That's exactly right. Except we're building it on consciousness, on the resonance of non-duality consciousness. So it's not good or bad or high or low. It is in the intentions of connectedness.
Okay.
Through the allness of each of us, the uniqueness, and that's how we're doing it. We're building it. It's based on a resonance. So all that came before. You know, when this is a great example. When I'm clearing property,
Yeah.
you know, and by the way, Sage doesn't clear anything. That's ridiculous. You know, you could, I don't know who got.
Just take them away with all their tricks, Sherry.
Yeah, I'm taking away all their bullshit. So
Just call them out.
Yeah, call them out. You clear it through the ages and stages, from beyond the beyond and before the before. So it's all cleared space. And so in clearing that space, all the molecules, cells, and particles to the subatomic level are open to receive the resonance of consciousness.
Yeah.
And that's what we are doing here in creating the new earth. And so that's why I'm excited about creating two schools.
Yeah.
A school of practitioners, if you would like to call them, train the trainers, facilitators, so that we are creating the medicine of the future now, not based on drugs and not based on illness,
Right.
but based on health.
Yeah.
Because the body is so smart. It knows what to do. And for the children is to show them to and embrace them with the truth.
Right.
So here was a thought that came to me. Because I have pictures of healthy cells and icky cells, whatever. Can you imagine children, little kids, because they get excited, is looking through a microscope at a petri dish of happy, healthy cells?
Right. Yeah.
That's what's inside you, what they look like. I was working with a child who was 8 years old who was being bullied.
Yeah.
And so I had him on one side of the door and I was on the other side, and we closed it and I pushed the energy. Now, there's a door between us, right? They're just molecules.
Right.
And I said, "What am I doing?" And he goes, "I feel you're pushing me." I go, "I am." And retracting, but I tried to fool him. And so instead of pulling toward me, I pushed it back. He goes, "You're still pushing me." Because he's a new kid on the block.
Yeah, he knew what you're doing.
And his
He could
mother
feel
was
it.
like shocked.
Yeah.
And I said, this is, so when people know this, here's an example. Years ago, one of my clients had kindergartners, and there was a little girl that was a pain in the butt, Dinsky. And so she was just in pain. And so I said, you know what? Why don't we like surround her? And that's what they did. And they sent her this unconditional acceptance and love, if you want to call it that. And then the teacher said, well, now guess what? Everybody wanted to do that.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody in the class got in the middle. And if there was any kind of an argument, whatever, well, it turned out it happened on the playground. So these little kindergartners were surrounding him, and you know, second graders aren't going to hang around with kindergarten babies, but they all started to do it. And the teacher got called to the office and said, "You can't do that." See, but
shut
now,
'em down.
because it shut them down. So we're going to show children so that they can put their hands up like this and do this and see their aura electromagnetic field. Because I've worked with these new kids on the block, and they're brilliant and they're open because their parents get it.
So
that's how we're creating it.
So
Ask more questions.
What really kind of resonates is X-Men with the Gifted. I don't know if you ever that the School of the Gifted. It's kind of like the same thing, but on metaphysical. You're like the
real practical.
Yeah, you're the practical Xavier for the X-Men, actually, which is pretty funny. But it deals with abilities and things like that. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of correlates. So, but yeah, so creating this new Earth. How does somebody participate in it?
By becoming conscious,
Okay.
by their willingness. And so that's why the school is creating profession, but it's also for people who just would like to get conscious.
Right.
They don't have to do what I do.
Right.
And please don't call me special, because you're all special.
Right.
So part of that school will be teaching parents, just like the couple that called me, and we've already talked about in a previous thing about, continuing the stupidity,
Right.
transferred ignorance. And so, and when you have children, like for instance, Brandy, who has a new kid on the block, she uses all the principles that I've taught her. So I know it works.
Yeah.
So when her daughter, who's little teeny, she gets down and looks at her face to face, she never looks down at her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that subliminally puts in that you're lower.
Yeah, you're lower.
And so that is part of it. And to have children experience each other.
I almost think there needs to be a metaphysical parenting course.
No,
I really think that should be a thing.
No, it's not going to be metaphysical. It's going to be expanded.
Well, whatever.
Yes.
I mean, it's needed to teach the parents how to
Yes.
just going about like, huh. And that's something I do actually. I go down. We do this little forehead bump. Me and my kid. She's a new kid on the block, as you know.
Yes,
and
she
I
is.
know she registers on that, and I do. I actually did. I don't know what it was, consciously, I guess, subconsciously, consciously went down, and I do that eye to eye where I'm like, look, what do you want? You need to talk to me or show me sign language or
What
something.
do you require?
What do you require?
So we're going to teach words. And
well, that's what you're training me as a parent. There needs to be parent training, because
there is. There's going to be. Want to be one of the parent trainers?
I am. I already am. So, but why I'm getting so adamant about this is this is the problem with what I call the woke. Is like, okay, cool. We're just gonna we're gonna go to work.
Poke the woke.
Go ahead and poke the woke. We're gonna start that.
That's
woke. Gonna be the T-shirt with the Neo has that we do. But the main thing is there needs to be. Parents just drop their off these kids and they don't know what's being programmed. And now this coming out with all these forced agendas, all these political agendas being forced in the kids and being programmed to them. When parents like me are like, hell no, I don't care what it takes.
That's why we're doing it.
I work my ass off just to get tutors, just not to send them to that program.
That's why we're doing it. We're looking for people to participate. We're looking for funding, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But please go to Patreon, patreon.com/Sherry Anshara. The only reason, and just do it for a month for $15. I don't care. But look up Brandy and what she talks about of how she has used all the tools that I've taught her all the years that she used for herself. She is a conscious parent.
Yeah.
And so in the school for children, guess what? We are going to have classes for parents. So we create the new earth together here. Forget about getting in the spaceship. It's not that I don't like spaceships. They're fine. Look at it. I'm a pilot. I used to have my own plane. I love flying. And the best time I liked flying when I was by myself because it was free.
Hey, in my world, I fly by myself. So.
Exactly. Now we're going to fly and create a new earth here. It's not woo-woo. It's not booga-booga. It is actually like building a new home.
Yeah.
A building an addition and letting the old go. Remember, you can't change the past. It's 1 second ago. Past, millions of years.
It's a memory.
That's right.
Can't change a memory.
But we can change the future, and it's 1 second. That's what these schools are about. If someone told me that I would be doing it, but it's correct. It's about showing parents first to connect to themselves so they can connect to their children.
Right, because if the parents aren't conscious, they're not going to teach consciousness to their kids, and they'll have, and any new kid on the block will have to deprogram themselves to become conscious. I mean, look at me. I'm going to be 35 soon. I was hit with my ball of light, quote unquote, and I think that was a gift because I was not conscious at all. It was from our peeps, so to speak, that hit me. But that blew my mind. I wish I had that when I was younger. I wish I was taught that. I wish I got going earlier. What could have been at that point?
Well, then look from my perspective at 3 years old in the olden days.
No, for sure.
And I'm going, what is going on with
it's
these
weird. You were wicked early, and I'm like I've always been a late bloomer, but I didn't know it was going to be this late in the game. I'm like, come on. Like,
but you're not. It's in perfect timing.
Still,
but
when
now
when it needed to happen at the right time.
Required to happen.
Required. Sorry, you're right. Not
no
needy
wanty.
wanty.
No needy wanty. So that's the exciting part, folks.
Cool.
How many of you would love to be conscious. So without judging them, it's time to poke the woke. So they become
Like
conscious
that.
because they deserve to live consciously like we all do.
All right, we are out of time. This has been The Quantum Truth with Sherry Anshara Unleashed. You can always find her at www.sherryanshara.com. Thank you for joining us.